In a quiet little town, there was an abandoned theater that everyone avoided. Rumor had it that strange things happened behind its dusty velvet curtains, which had been untouched for decades. The theater was supposed to be demolished, but every crew that tried to dismantle it reported unsettling occurrences. One chilly autumn evening, Claire, a thrill-seeking journalist, decided to investigate the theater. Equipped with only a flashlight and a notepad, she pushed open the creaky doors, her footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. Dust hung thick in the air, and the grand curtain loomed at the far end of the stage, draped like a ghostly shroud. That as Claire approached the curtain, a whisper seemed to emanate from it, soft yet urgent. She froze. The voices were unintelligible, like fragments of a haunting melody, and they seemed to grow louder the closer she got. Trembling but determined, she extended her hand and pulled back the heavy fabric. Behind it was not a wall or a backstage room, but an empty void filled with shadowy figures that appeared to dance and swirl in slow motion. Mesmerized, Claire took a step forward, feeling as though the figures were beckoning her. Suddenly, she felt an icy grip on her arm. She gasped and tried to pull away, but the invisible force was relentless. It dragged her into the darkness behind the curtain, and just as her screams filled the theater, the curtain dropped back into place, leaving only silence. The next morning, the theater appeared untouched, with the curtain hanging peacefully as if it had never been disturbed. Claire's disappearance became another mystery added to the legends surrounding the theater, and soon after, people claimed they could hear her voice whispering from behind the enchanted curtain, forever calling for help in the empty theater. Weeks passed, and Claire's friends and colleagues started to worry. Her sudden disappearance stirred rumors and fears, but nobody dared to enter the theater after what had happened. That is, until David, Claire's childhood friend, arrived in town. He refused to believe that Claire was truly gone and was determined to find her. Armed with a flashlight and a small charm Claire had once given him for protection, David sneaked into the theater one stormy night. Rain pounded against the broken windows as he entered, casting an eerie atmosphere. The smell of damp, decaying wood filled the air as he walked toward the stage, his steps echoing in the dark. When he reached the curtain, David hesitated. He could feel a strange chill seeping through the fabric, and he remembered what people had said about Claire's last moments here. Gathering his courage, he whispered, "Claire, if you're here, I'm coming to find you," before pulling back the heavy curtain. The void opened up again, revealing the same dark figures swirling like shadows in a storm. David stepped inside, feeling a strange pull, like invisible hands guiding him deeper. He kept calling for Claire, but only faint whispers replied, repeating his own words in distorted echoes. Just as he was about to turn back, he saw a glimmer in the darkness, a faint outline of a figure. "Claire?" he called out, his voice trembling. The figure turned, revealing Claire's face, pale and hollow-eyed, as if trapped in some eternal nightmare. She reached out to him, but when he tried to grasp her hand, his fingers passed through hers as if she were made of mist. "David," she whispered, "you shouldn't have come." It won't let us leave. Before he could respond, a powerful force yanked them apart, pulling Claire deeper into the shadows. David struggled, shouting her name, but he felt himself being dragged backward toward the entrance. His vision blurred, and he felt an unbearable weight pressing on his chest. Suddenly, he was thrown out of the void, landing back on the stage. Gasping for air, he scrambled to his feet, staring at the curtain, now motionless and silent. Claire's faint voice echoed in his mind, her warning chilling him to the core. Desperate but shaken, he vowed to return, determined to free her from the dark grip of the enchanted curtain. But as he left, he realized something horrifying. The charm Claire had given him for protection was gone, lost somewhere in the shadows. And deep in the theater, the whispering resumed, louder this time, as though it were calling his name.